the next speaker. I've been trying to see whether I can identify Obaebi also on the platform. I've not been able to see him, but I will try as well as possible to be able to get his phone on that platform so that we can bring him on board for him to speak. Reverend Bola Oyeledu, your time starts now, sir. Bola Oyeledu. Bola Oyeledu.
Cannot unmute myself. I need to be unmuted, I said.
You are muted.
Okay, you can hear me now.
I can hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
Beautiful. I said before I launch, let me just make some 2 corrections. The man, Sholaido, who spoke about a directory for Iperu is very much on point. Because while this was being promoted, it was put on air that he's the first, or probably only senior advocate of Nigeria from Iperu. That's not true. Funke Adekoya is from Iperu. And so that means that we need that database to be able to write properly. Am I with you? Then when we're talking about schools, and we talk about Day Waterman College from Abeokuta, we need to also let ourselves know that here in Iperu, we have 2 very good schools. The first one I'll talk about is, it has its road opposite the governor's residence, and that's Vinecrest College. The lady who owns and heads Vinecrest College has been head teacher in Bells, she has been head teacher in Atlantic Hall, and she has been head teacher in Trinity College. She's an indigene of Iperu, and then she came home to establish her own here. She calls it Vinecrest College. It's on a very vast acre of land, and it's a place that anybody would want to go. And honestly, I'll tell you, the students there come from all over the world, and I mean that very specifically, from all over the world. They may be Nigerians, but they come from all over the world. I know it because I minister there once a month. Now, when we also, but there's also another school, a French and English school. I've never been there, but I've seen their bus. A French and English, Bel Air or something like that. You know, it's also here in Iperu. And I think that maybe they themselves are not doing themselves enough, adequate publicity and all the rest of it, enough of a service. But then we need to go back a little. First of all, let me congratulate the man who put this together, Prince Benga Okalade. First, for this, as Nnamdi Azikiwe will call it, risorgimento in our thinking and in our lives. And I want to congratulate you again that it's very near the 12th of June, so to speak, this event. Why? Because when 12th of June was specifically a hope for resurrection. And so this is, I term it also a hope for resurrection. Then, but 12th of June was thwarted. So are we saying that this is likely to be thwarted? I disagree. Why do I disagree? Because Democracy Day was put at 29th May for a very long time. But when the time came for restitution to be made, 12th June became our Democracy Day. So that 12th June dream is coming alive again. So I pray that the dream that is being birthed today, the activities that is being birthed today will yield much fruit to our pleasure and to the glory of God Almighty. Now let's go back and say that before state creation, before the creation of states, nobody, and before the creation of the expressway, nobody could journey from Lagos to Ibadan without passing through Iperu. That is a sine qua non. There's no argument about that. You could not journey. But you see, what was known about Iperu was the linear part of Iperu. You come in from here, you go out through there. Nobody knew what lay to the right or what lay to the left. And so we have a duty, now that the expressway has put us away, we have a duty to now expound what we have in Iperu and get away from that single line vision. You could not go through to Ibadan without passing through Shagamu, Iperu. That's not arguable. But then let us also remember that when in the old Western region, Shagamu was WR1 and Iperu was WR2. And when the states were created, Shagamu was OG1R and Iperu was OG2R. Today, somehow or the other, we have become number 3 instead of number 2. What happened? So, well, let's say that if governor was in power and he loved to give more things to his people, and so we came to number 3 instead of number 2. And that is not now neither here nor there. What can we do to put ourselves right? Now let's look at this again when we come to state creation. Oh, oh. Well, hello. Hello, are you with me? Am I with you? Am
We
I
can
still
hear
with
you. We can hear you.
Am I still with you?
We can
Okay,
hear
thank
you.
you
Go
very
ahead,
much.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, when state creation came in 1976, the intention was that the capitals, the state capitals, would be places that were central to those geographical entities, and that the development was supposed to come to those places to enhance them in a way that had never been done before. So naturally, and I know what I'm talking about, naturally, Iperu was the choice. It is equidistant between Ijebu and Abeokuta. It is equidistant between Lagos and Ibadan. So Iperu was the place that was chosen. But then there came arguments as to why not Ijebu, why not Shagamu, even if it has to, And so Iperu was robbed. And when General Olusegun Obasanjo was going home, he said, you people don't need it. Give it to me. Let me take it there. Let me say that, that in that case, Iperu has been robbed. And if Iperu was robbed, it means that what brought MKO Abiola to greater limelight just before the 93 elections was this quest for reparations, his quest for reparations for the African continent and the black men. And so now we need reparations for Iperu. We need reparations for Iperu, for people to be able to properly situate things and say that, yes, we have cheated Iperu out of some things, and we need to make restitution to Iperu for these things. Where is that going to come from? Of course, it will come from Ogun State. We took the capital away from here, and by taking the capital, took away development and growth from here. There's also the question that the federal government also needs to restitute because it had taken a decision and it swayed away from that decision. Lagos today is talking about the fact that speech of Murtala Muhammad, that Lagos has served everybody, and so it should not be made to carry its own load alone. It's the same thing with Iperu. Iperu has been robbed, and so there is restitution that should be made. But there's also the question of the community. The community itself needs to restitute for itself. Individuals need to restitute for this place. In Igbo land, you have what they talk about Ohaneze, the town and the crown and the people. So both the crown and the people need to restitute for themselves, to the people, to themselves. They need to do themselves a great favor. But when you look at Psalm 121, it says, "I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From when does come my help?" My help, and it answers its own question by saying, "My help does not come from those hills. My help comes from the Lord." So it's a question of restitution. It's a question of looking at yourself. It's a question of self-examination. For you to look at yourself properly and say, "Oh," and that is where you can now say, "My help comes from here," whether it's from the Lord or from. Now, you cannot talk about it coming from the Lord without your own self-help, your own examination and your ability to forge forward. So, is my help coming from the hills? My help is not coming from the hills. My help is coming from here, from the people, from the kings, from royalty, and from the peasants, from the elite, as was said. That's a Frantz Fanon thing that it is the duties and ineligible duty of the elite to lead the masses, and that cannot be taken away. So we need this self-examination, and in doing our self-examination, we have things along the way. We have the fact that in this place, some years back, I'm not too young to remember that, some people got together and said they were going to put together a hospital to serve the Remo community, the Iperu community. And they got together until today. When you still talk about the general hospital, many people will still talk about community hospital. That's what they still remember it. So they came together and they acquired a vast expanse of land and they put together this hospital there. Till today, almost everything in that place was contributed by Iperu indigenes. And so that means that this place, Iperu, has been neglected, again, by the Ogun State government. We need that restitution. There is a case, there's a ready case for restitution, and that cannot be taken away. The fact, again, is that the people also came together to put together the post office. What is the state of that post office now? Who should be responsible for that post office? Please remember that the post office was handed over to the federal government and the general hospital was handed over to the state government together with the waterworks which is there. Now, who should be responsible? The people who are responsible are the federal government and the state government. And they should move in and give us restitution. But are we going to fold our hands and say that restitution will come? Are we? You want me to stop here for now? I don't think so. I think that we can self-help. Okay.
No, if they are good.
I should go on, or I should stop for now.
No, you can. For now, you can round up your thoughts so that we can then open the room for people to ask questions.
So when we're talking about, okay, let me just round it up on solo efforts. And when I talk of solo efforts, and with the one I just finished talking about, it's a challenge to us, to the community, to the people, to the individuals who have the means, and to the individuals who can still come together and pool their means to lift the community, to lift the future of this town and the future of their own children. For instance, in this place, let's not deny it, let's not run away from it. So somebody, I think it was Alhaji Moibishitu, influenced the siting of the police college in Iperu when he had the opportunity. How many of us are willing to do that, to put our necks out? There is a conference center, which is now going to become a magistrate court, that somebody was invited to be chairman of Akeson Day, and he brought his people from all around the place. That's Kole Olatunji. He brought people from all around the place. They gathered a lot of money, and at the end of the day, they said, no, that will be for this project. And that project is that conference center, which is going to become a magistrate court. That's an example. That's a landmark for some other people to see and emulate. There is the Wema Bank there. That man could have been making a lot of money from rentals, but he said, no, you know, this place has to be served by a bank. So he made the sacrifice on that and put that there. And most of the other places don't have, you know, tenants. But he knew what he was doing when he put that bank there. That's the Balogun, Babaoba, Adebutu. There is also the question of the civic center, which he donated to the town. You know, those are things that people must see and envy and try to emulate. There's the central mosque, there's the Ojale, which is still rather recent and people are trying to lift up. But you know, let me tell you, you mentioned something earlier. You said that, okay, let me also say that there are the Shosa brothers and there's Feso, there is Dosumo, and there's Fuji, Fender. They all did things in this town. So what are the rest of us doing? Let me say one thing. Let me tell you one thing that I have identified. You mentioned something that on the road to Elisha, there's something happening. Well, it's the grace of God, it's favor that is happening. But I can remember that I took somebody there. Somebody was supposed to do some small job, not through me, but just to introduce a person. And the person said, and I said, look, I'm not making any money from here. I don't even have influence apart from quality control in this place. Say, Ebo, tó bá jẹ́ pé mi ni o, 40% kan tó wà lẹ́bẹ̀ẹ́lẹ́ bí akọ́tí wọ̀ mí lápò náà. So, if that person has the influence, the ability, the connections to bring that kind of project into this town, if the 40% to his pocket does not exist, this person will move away from that. So our selfishness, our self-centeredness is driving away development from here. So I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence will my help come? From outside or from me? We'll stop here for now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Reverend. You have spoken well, and you have also spoken to the heart of the issue. Want to sincerely thank you. I've also noted the core of your issue, which also moves on with what other people have also said, that we can't leave it to nature, we can't leave it to God. We must all come together, fashion a future for this town, and then be able to move on. I know that for our own platform, this discourse is just to start an intellectual discussion, and then now be able to see what do we take away from there, then how do we do implementation. People have asked me behind the scene and say, okay, what is the way forward for implementing most of these things that have been said? And I don't have an answer to that, but I know that with the quality of people that we have brought to this platform, then it becomes the next question becomes very, very handy. Implementation. We also thank God that KBS is in the house and the whole critical stakeholders. I'm sure that all these issues will be properly looked into, and they'll be able to see how far. You also spoke about those two schools in Iperu that you mentioned. Unfortunately, for a person like me, I even struggle to remember those names. And I think that also confirmed what Shilaja and Idowu have also said, a directory for the town. If you have a directory, you won't be struggling to remember whether these things exist. You'll not be able to pick them from those things. So it speaks to the fact that we're on track towards identifying the issues going forward. Well, I'm going to open the floor now for people to ask questions. When you come in, and just mention your name, and then you just ask your question in a minute. And if it's a comment, it's still saying 1 minute. Then let us know who your question. By raising your hand on the platform, I won't be seeing pictures. I want to see your hands. There is a Mufokwefolua Joseph that is raised his hand, and I'm going to unmute him now. So your 1 minute start from now. Mufokwefolua, I've unmuted you.
Thank you, Benga. God bless you. This is a wonderful work. And I greet Kabiyesi, Iperu, and Oba Ebi. One thing we have to do quickly, a quick way, is to pick 5 people who are to meet the governor and relate to the governor what we need immediately to solve some of the problems in Iperu. Because Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Shola Idowu, has mentioned that what did we get from Awutesu and Ladega when they were in government. So we don't want to miss that opportunity again. 5 people who will be able to put our case across to the governor, and within the next 1 or 2 weeks, they should meet with the governor and be able to put our case across to him. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother, for being part of this. We're also happy to announce that you are also the town, the government of the day in Ogun State has also found you worthy to be appointed onto a platform which is meant to focus on education. We want to appreciate you. I want to thank God for finding you worthy to do this. We are looking forward to people like you who are now in governance to be able to help towards championing the cause of the people and being able to move on. Thank you. Let me also bring on board, I will meet you now and your 1 minute from now, Wale Abdul. Wale Abdul was the first person I talked about who worked for GTB. We thank you for coming on board. You are muted. Go ahead, my brother. Wally, I have tried to unmute you, but I think you muted yourself.
Okay, I'm okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Turn to run to. So I just have to not be in Iperu. Now the speaker, that is Brother Shilaja and Shola Ido, they spoken very well. What I also consider a major problem we're also having is this. We need to have love for each other. That's one of those things that is really chasing people out of Iperu. When you come to Iperu, what people will be telling you, have people that want to bring to Iperu, but what they will say is this: you want to go and kill yourself. Why are you going to Iperu? But I have to tell them, I'm born and bred at Iperu. We must also go there to develop Iperu. What Mufoluwa said is also okay. We need to quickly have what's it called, a think tank that will also put all these things together, have our position paper that can also be presented to the governor. And lastly, I believe we also need to also be able to say the truth, be vocal, like Brother Shilada said, so that the truth. But most when issue happen, many people always take side without telling the truth. And that's one of those things that also make the people not to also develop. We have to tell the truth at every point, at every opportunity that we have to meddle into any issue, and also be able to articulate all our issues together so it can also be presented. And everybody must also be able to come to the rescue. So without depending on only one person or group of people, everybody in the town must be ready to also be able to develop Iperu. Akesagbewa.
Ashel, thank you so much, my brother. Alhaji Taiwo Yebanjo, you are muted. Go ahead and make your speech and make your question or comment.
Okay. I see there.
Yeah. That's the first chairman of ICDA. Go ahead, my brother. We can't hear you. Check your phone. We can't hear you, my brother.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Yeah, you can hear me very well now.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Alhaji Taiwo Yebanjo, the Vice Chairman of Iperu Community Development Association and the immediate past chairman, Akeson Day Celebration Committee, 2017 and 2018. We want to just respond to a few things. Maybe what Barrister Idowu Shofola said. I'm glad that when I was the chairman of Akeson Day Celebration Committee, he was one of my the people we placed on Elders Forum, so as to tap the benefits of their knowledge. And one of the things we did then was to give the chairmanship of Akeson Day Celebration Committee, because before we came on board, nothing was forthcoming. By the time they celebrate Akeson Day, sometimes, in fact, before I took over, it was a negative figure. So we now sat down and said, what could be wrong with the system? And of course, we did consultation, we met with some people, and we came up with a plan that, okay, we will be giving Akeson Day chairmanship. Because even before we came up, it was even becoming difficult to find a chairman for the day. Some will come, and you end up not getting anything. So to cut the long story short, we decided that we'll be giving the opportunity to the clubs, so that when we give it to the club, from there, at least we have somebody who is responsible that we can hold. And to some extent, it works. I'm glad to report that, the first outing, we met with Balogun of Iperu, Chief Kesintin. And it was at the point, of meeting with him that he decided that he's going to put a facelift to the palace. What I'm trying to bring here is that we have a challenge. It's good that, the the technocrats are coming together now. The people of high values, are getting interested in the community. As far as I'm concerned, that is lacking. When I was the Akeson Day chairman, I, traveled extensively. I met a lot of people, trying to invite them home, to be part of the development. But what we got at the end of it, wasn't very encouraging.
So what's your take?
Somebody said, coming to Iperu, they will kill you. I think all those things is perception. By the grace of God, I'm the chairman of Avalon Suits, and the hotel is resident in Iperu. And to God be the glory. Nobody is killing me. The business is going on fine. I don't have any regret. So I think it's issue of perception. We need to come together as people to support the town. Senior Mofo Joseph said something, but for me, I think it goes beyond that, because the first thing is to identify the challenges of the town, harmonize all the solutions before we can make any presentation to the government.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. You need to round up.
Okay, no problem. I think I can stop there. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we also make people to raise their hand digitally for me to be able to identify it. When I bring you on board, just mention your name, and then so that people can know you and then we can move on. I am bringing in Sheson Akisoya. I'm sure he's calling from all the way from, I think, UK or so. Sheson, your hand, please. I've unmuted you. Sheson, please. Hello, sir.
It's still on mute. Sheson, unmute yourself.
Sheson, unmute yourself. I've unmuted you from here. You need to also unmute yourself. Sheson, unmute yourself, please.
Okay, yes. Am I okay now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sheson Akisoya. I pay obeisance to the KBAC president, Alakwero of Iperu, Ebi Ovideno. I'm joining this because it's so important to me. I have to wake up 5 a.m. to join from where I am.
Wow.
At 5 hours behind.
I like that.
And
I like that.
My view going forward, I think what is important about this is that, this initiative is fine. We have had so many suggestions, but the most important is for us to take it forward. Instead of making it just the talk, let's have some action. And I think going forward, what is really important is the issue of structure, putting structure around things. And I heard that we have ICDA. What I think is happening, I may be wrong, is that maybe we've been putting too much emphasis on social rather than development. And that is why the Akeson Day, for example, is more about partying and, maybe also seeing each other, and it ends there. But now that we are discussing issue of taking the community forward, I think we need a proper structure that will involve everybody and all the individuals. And you can also do that through the association. There are so many associations in Iperu, which some of them are mostly social. Some are also doing what they can do, within themselves. For example, I belong to Akeson Frontliners as well, and I think two other members of that association are here now. So we need a big structure, which will kind of be a federation body that will now have all these associations, and they connect through those associations then to everybody within the town, and particularly those that can help the influencers in the society that is within Nigeria and beyond the Iperu and Nigeria, so that we can move things forward. So it's all good to, well and good to talk about programs and all that, but if you don't move it forward, if you don't implement it, we are going nowhere. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother, all the way from Canada. having to do a night a vigil for you to be part of this. You have encouraged us so much. I want to thank you. I also have Ogunlaja raising the hand, and I'm unmuting you now. Just mention your name and straight the question that you want us to address.
Thank you very much. With due respect, please permit me to speak in Yoruba.
Go ahead.
Akẹgbọ̀n Ramsọ, ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ o. Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ bèrè, inú mi dùn, àjọ tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí kò ní lópin.
Àmín.
Àní kú sọ́nà bí ọkọ̀ eléèfín. Ìyá mi tó sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, inú mi dùn. Orí ẹ̀kọ́, education bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ. A bí mi nílùú yìí, mo lọ́kọ nílùú yìí, mo ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùkọ́. Ntí arábìnrin yẹn sọ pátá ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Àmọ́ nísìnyí, gbogbo àwa onílé ọlọ́nà, inú mi dùn àwọn, èmi náà Apollo ni mo ti jáde. Gbogbo àwa tá jáde yàtọ̀ sápolò nìkan. Ọ̀nà wo ni àwa tí a wà lókè òkun, àwa tá lówó, ọ̀nà wo la máa gbà sowọ́pọ̀ mọ́ àwọn tó wà ń lù kí kábíyèsí pé àwọn tó ń pọ̀ kan máa ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú mo forí balẹ̀ forí adé sà. Tí Ìpẹ́rù máa fi kúrò níbi tó wà yìí tó máa di ọ̀nà tá fẹ́ gbà yẹn òun kẹ́ jẹ́ ká mú nísìnyí. Ẹ̀kọ́ àwọn ọmọ ilé ìgbé ẹ̀kọ́ ó dára púpọ̀ tẹ́ pé ní boarding house. Boarding house, I went to boarding house. My children too, I vowed that my children will go to boarding house, and they did. Wale Abdul, àbúrò mi ni, Mayflower, boarding house ni gbogbo wa lọ, adẹ̀rẹ̀ kọta kan bẹ̀. Maybe that one will stop this cultism or something that way. Èjì, ẹjọ́, àwọn òbí wa nílùú Ìpẹ́rù yìí tán ń ṣòwò tán ń tajà. Àwọn tí wọn ò kàwé ló pọ̀ jù nínú wọn o. Ọ̀nà wo la máa gbà, ètò wo la máa ṣe tí a fi lè máa jẹ́ kí inú wọn dùn wípé àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà ní àjò wọ́n wálé wá là wà lójú. Mi mọ̀ bóyá nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ yẹn tí mo sọ yẹn yé yín. Arábìnrin yẹn sọ kinní kan, wọ́n ní pé nígbà ọdún kérésì wọ́n máa ń wálé, inú wa máa ń dùn. Àwọn tó wà ń Pẹ̀rù tán bá rí àwọn tí wọ́n wá láti òkèèrè yẹn, wọ́n máa ń mú wọn wípé ẹ jẹ́ ká fi wọ́n ṣàwòkọ́ṣe ká má hùwà bí ará oko. Ọ̀nà wo la máa gbà ṣe, ẹ má jẹ́ ká sá sẹ́yìn. Nítorí ńgbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ Akẹ́sàndé lóòótọ́ bá Lájì ṣe sọ, èmi àtàlájì tá à ń káàkiri sáànù àwa bá ń lé o, onẹ́bà ṣe jọ sọ̀rọ̀. Ààrẹ nìkankan láti ìgbà yẹn kan dìde àfìsín tínú yín dẹ̀ dùn tí bàbá wa Oyèlédùn àti àwọn tó kù kábíyèsí wa pẹ́ fún wa ọ̀tẹ̀ máa dájú báyìí lẹ́jọ́ á ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí. Ọ̀nà wo la máa gbà fi máa mú ṣe lèmi fẹ́ sọ pé ká máa sún síwájú ọ̀nà yẹn ní kẹjẹ́ ká tọ̀ báyìí. Èjì wa lọ rẹ́ ṣe o, Akẹ̀sàn àgbẹ̀ni o.
Àṣẹ o, ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Lára ìdí tá a ṣe gbé ètò yìí náà kalẹ̀ nìyẹn pé let us talk about this town, what and what that we need to do, and we are happy that many people are participating. As we speak now, close to 70 people are on this platform, and that is awesome. I'm going to bring in Professor Shofola onto the platform. I've unmuted you, Professor.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Yeah, loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. I know Bola is laughing. Good morning.
I'm happy, very happy.
Good morning, and thank you for this. I just try and make two very quick comments based on two speakers. One by Kuli Oshilaja on estate, and one by Mrs. Chiombo on education. I was just thinking of can we have something like what Hydron is doing at Shimawa, in which you can get an expanse of land in Iperu and develop it and let people buy and come in and build up a community. Not necessarily isolating ourselves from the community, but trying to integrate and having a place to come to, which is laid out. So that's one suggestion I'm trying to make. The second one about this education, this vocational thing, I think I'm very passionate about. I'm a retired professor from College of Medicine, Lagos. I have a passion about education. I believe that if you can get a place where our kids can go and develop some skills, vocational skills, which are contemporary, artificial intelligence, robotics, engineering things, I also discussed sometimes with Kuli when I was talking to him about artisans, because there's a program, I think, in Denmark, where artisans can be asked to go to school in the evenings and give them some theoretical background, which will allow them to reinforce their training. So if you can do that, I think you can now bring up the students in an area, let them acquire skills which are contemporary. And in addition, higher institutions that you are talking about, you can do a PPP in which you can start a technical, where they do ONG changes, because the government may not be able to start new schools all over the place. If you can find people who can put something down and then start a higher institution, maybe as a technical college to start with, rather than looking for a university, and maybe later on have a campus of a university. Those are just the two topics I wanted to comment about. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so
Prof.
much, Professor. We appreciate. I'm sure that Shoyombo and Shilaja will respond to that when they come on to their last lap. Let me also announce that we have in the house Brother Olusegun Ladega. People call him Okpa.
Okay, Okpa.
He was meant to be part of the panelists, but because of his very tough challenges. But we are happy that at least he's here as a member of the audience. And we have also spoken about so many areas that concern him. The boundary definition for the town, the planning for the town to have a new development area, and then taking advantage of the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road and the Shagamu interchange. That could be a fallout for us. These are areas where people like that would need his skills and his commitment to be able to do that. We want to thank you for participating in this program, my brother. We hope that next time we'll be able to have enough time for us to also. And we're also happy if you can also create time to just in 1 or 2 minutes to also make a comment onto what we're having. Let me quickly also bring in. I have not been able to see Obaibi. I have been struggling to identify his phone. We spoke 5 minutes to starting, and he promised to be in. He's been in and out. If you can hear me, I think he needs to get to us for us to be able to get him and bring him on board. Quickly, let me bring on board Yomi Amusho. Your question in just 1 minute, and who are you addressing it to, so that we can round up this thing. I've unmuted you, Yomi Amusho. Yomi Amusho, can you hear me?
You need to unmute yourself. Mr. Amusho, please unmute.
Yes. Now I think you can hear me, the house.
Yeah, yes. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. In fact, I'm so happy for this development. On the chat, I've made a useful suggestion of getting the. I'm making a contribution. I'm not making any. I'm not asking any question. Good. That the ICDA should have subcommittees and be shared by technocrats. I mean, on education, on empowerment, on recreation, so that people will bring in a write-up to all these committees, and then there will be a way forward for the town to be developed. That's what I want to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's also very, 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 very short. Good one. Sumola Temitope, I've unmuted you. If you've muted yourself, just unmute yourself too. Just quick 1 minute. Sumola Temitope. Sumola Temitope, unmute yourself and okay, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Moshiba Foriade, Moshiba Fun, Ayagba, Moshiba Fomode, Moshiba Fogai. Mine is more of a contribution to what I've heard so far. Sorry, I'm coming a little bit late. In terms of the education aspect, I want to support what Professor said. And concerning the artisans too, what I think we can do with the artisans is there's this government technical board, NAPTEP, which we can actually enroll them for, so that it can meet up with levels, with the levels of standard of education that we're looking for in the town. This will also help us to build more artisans in the level of education. So And another thing is that we should have more of boot camps for the youth and the secondary school, especially the secondary school students. We should have more boot camps that can actually create a kind of a sensitization for them to know what is happening, because most of us are actually behind in what is happening in what is happening within the world of technology today. So technology to me can actually drive what we are looking for in Iperu Remo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. That's also a very good one. Omisanya Wasiu, you are on. Your question in a minute.
Or your contribution.
Omisanya Wasiu, unmute yourself and ask a question. Omisanya Wasiu. Okay, if he's not ready for us. Wasiu Omisanya,
Assalamu
can you hear
alaikum wa
us, please?
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, I'm here with you, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Can have something it's something they call a bond, which every working class or the people that can even contribute maybe just 1,000 into a particular account, and we target it to a particular project. I think with that one can be done so that everybody will feel, okay, I'm part of this project. So that's what I want to contribute, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. I also love that. Very, very snappy and good to you. Kensington Adegbuyi, I'm bringing you on board now. Just unmute yourself and ask your question. I think we appreciate more of questions so that our panelists can respond to those things. Adegbuyi, you are on, sir.
Okay, good morning. Okay, my own question is this: how can this platform be used to galvanize the private sectors? Because most of the contribution tends towards the government, what the state government can do to support the town. What about galvanizing the private initiatives? We have boundaries with Lagos State with so much economic potentials. How can this be used to bring private sectors into the community? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you also, Kensington Adegbuyi. That is a good one. I'm sure that San will respond back to that because he touched that when he started his comment by talking about incorporating a body or whatever. Oshilade also spoke about that. When they come back for their last comment, I'm sure they will narrow down on that. Thank you. Mustafa Bolale Solomon, I am unmuting you. If you are muted yourself, unmute yourself and speak.
And I greet. Are you? Am I online, sir? Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Hello. Okay. My two questions I have quickly is the number one, the issue of love. What is the committee doing to make sure they set a good base for the Akesons to begin to love themselves? And number two, ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà máa ń sọ pé ẹlẹ́rù ló máa kọ́ gbẹ̀rù ẹ̀ kan tó tẹ́lómi tó bá gbé. I want to encourage us that we should not belabor the governor first. I will advise that we articulate our position and we begin ourselves. Then we will have a platform to say to the governor or to anybody that will support us. Don't let us put the cart before the horse. It's my kind advice. And the next one is the issue of finance. I think the committee should need to set up a committee, a subcommittee that will come up with options on how we can raise finances for our future projects. That's my position. Honestly, I'm an initial boy, but luckily, election rejected me. Iperu took me up. They nurture me, and they make me what I am today.
We're happy to hear that. Thank you for being part of this.
All my life, I was born in Iperu. All my school life was in Iperu. So today, Iperu is all the way. So please.
Thank you for being part of this. We truly appreciate you.
Thank
I'm
you,
going
sir.
to bring on board. Yeah, I'm going to bring on board Alhaji Taiwo Raji. You are muted now. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody, and great respect to the KBAC on seat and fellow indigenous of Iperu Remo. I am not asking any question, but going straight to my comments. One, when are we expecting the communique of this meeting? Two, I want to sign myself with identifiable options given. One, the issue of identifiable community projects. Two, attraction of educational institution. Considering the fact that there are lots of higher institutions for which the government is complaining of financing today, we can provide an enabling environment for attracting either a department of any existing university or a postgraduate school. And I want to clamor for a postgraduate school, which we can call Ijebu Business School. Third, the issue of directory of who is who in Iperu should also be in place. And more importantly, we need that Iperu pressure group that we put in word to any government in power, not necessarily the current government, for Iperu indigene. And then more importantly, sir, the issue of clamor for the next Zoom meeting. When will it take place? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alhaji Raji. Want to thank you. I know that several people are raising their hands, but there are some international standard for Zoom process. When it's becoming longer than 2 hours, then it's no longer acceptable. And we have done close to 2 hours. So I'm going to say that we are sorry that we'll not take as many of ourselves as possible. We'll have to now go back to our panelists. I'm sure that they have something to say in respect to questions and comments that people have made. May I bring back on board now Sholaido for his final comments.
Mr. Moderator, I hope you are hearing me.
Yeah, loud and clear, sir.
Loud and clear. Okay, thank you. I've listened to what other panelists have said and the comments made by the several speakers. One thing is so clear: we need to get united as indigenes of Iperu. I think everybody agreed on that. Then we need a kind of leadership, a cohesive leadership, which can only be done by the KBACs in the town. They are the ones to set the pace. They are the ones to set the agenda. It is the elite in any organization. It is the elite that dictates the pace in any community. The elite have to come together. The leaders of Iperu have to gather this elite and let them come together. And at the end of the day, it is the elite that will fashion what direction the town should go. Yes, we have the son of the soil as the governor, but as far as I'm concerned, we've got to have our own view about the town. We've got to take some steps before we approach the governor. We cannot just approach the governor and expect him, oh, we have this thing, governor, come to take over. No, it's not only the governor of Iperu, it's the governor of Ogun State. Yes, he knows he has to do one or two things for the town as an indigene of the town. But at the same time, we must have a concrete project. Let us have a concrete project that we want to embark upon in the town. Then we start it on our own efforts, then we project it to the government. Regarding the educational institutions, yes, thanks to the special advisor, I'm aware that he has chosen my school for the boarding school to be returned. We will do our best. We will do our best. We will do our best as AGS Iperu. We will do our best to complement the effort of the government. I went to a boarding school, and so many of us went to boarding school. We knew what we did in boarding school. But at the same time, why the old efforts in Apollo? It shouldn't be restricted to the old students. It shouldn't. That is the first secondary school in Iperu. That's the first secondary school in Iperu. It also every indigene of Iperu. Whatever you can chip in to achieve what the government says should be done, we do it. On the whole, I think we have to end it up that we've got to love ourselves. We've got to stop backbiting and bickering, which has been the order of the day. We've got to stop that, and we've got to have this cohesive leadership for the town to move forward. That's my final submission.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. That's a good one. Brother Kunle Oshilaja.
Thank you very much, everybody. Again, thank you to the moderator. Thank you to our Obas again. I think a lot of the discussions have sort of converged because what everybody is saying is almost the same. We all definitely know what the issues are. We all are singing the same hymn sheet. So I think it is what next? Next steps. I have a list here again. Sorry, I work by list. Maybe it's something that my father imbibed in my head. He always has a small piece of paper and works by list. And I think we should, first of all, have a communique of Mr. Alaji Raji has said of what this is about. So, summary of it in bullet points. We need to very quickly get that database of people who are on this forum now and wider. I know some people, some names that are not here, whether they never heard about it, but I think we should then get them in. I think we need to publicize and have a next Zoom, whenever it is, we can decide. But I think most importantly, to take actions forward, we need to have that umbrella entity, whether it's ICDA as we have now or something else, I don't care, to start creating committees, which is headed by so-called technocrats, which people are saying on the forum, to create papers and what needs to be done. Because until we champion those little things, we can't get anywhere. I have sent a copy of my talk in PDF form to the moderator.
The special advisor to the government of Ogun State on education, Ronke Sheyombo, for a final comment.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you so much, our fathers and our mothers. I also want to thank Reverend Oyeledu for signposting us to some of the schools that we didn't know about, but you can be rest assured that I'm going to really check out for those schools. Now, the key thing I want to bring out here is education in Ogun State is not business as usual anymore. For the first time, now that we have Governor Dapo Abiodun, you will see that placement exam is starting this year, where children coming from primary 6 will have to sit for tests before they come into GSS1 so that we can improve standards. The other thing is we've got Christ Apostolic as one of the 31 model schools where the placement exam will not work for them, but it would be screening exam, just like the common entrance that we used to have in those days. So because we want to actually channel this towards the cream of our society, and that's something we're working on. Then another thing is people mention the artisans. There is World Bank projects coming on artisans, because at the moment we have started with that, and that's what Agency for Mass Education will be working with. So because there's a lot of projects coming up in the next 2-3 years, and we can still support Iperu more on this because people are going to benefit, and we've got the agro business. Because sometimes a lot of people don't know what is happening with the state government. There are so many opportunities available now. So it will be nice for us that the committee will be able to access all the things that government is doing. We have a portal where we're sending out jobs to, not just government jobs, but even jobs from the private sectors. And a lot of people have been able to benefit from this. So it would be nice for us to have career day, for the youth, where people can come and talk to them of all the opportunities available in the state. And another thing is people have been mentioning the state governing body. State governing body, you will see that that's a strategy that we're using at the moment to see how we can really improve the leadership of all our secondary schools. And I'm happy to say that the vice president for that is also Mr. Mofokwe Joseph. So they are doing a lot of work, which we're going to be launching out very, very soon. And the other thing is, somebody mentioned the boot camps for the youth. I will definitely take that on board because we can do a lot on leadership skills there. We can bring a lot, but above all, let's have a clear action plan. And whatever it is you want us to do for education, we'll be able to embrace that as quickly as possible. Once again, I appreciate you for actually calling me because somebody from another town, because my mom is Elisha and my dad is Shagamu, but I'm married to you. So I will definitely work for Iperu. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you so much, my sister. That's a powerful one. I think we'll take that to the bank. Calling upon you severally for us to be able to benefit from your words of experience. You also mentioned a very critical aspect of going forward. You said the action plan, the action plan. You have used the word action plan. San and Oshilaja have used agenda, but I think that is a very, very salient point that we need to take home. You can't expect much from the government when you don't even have your own action plan as far where in what area you want the government to be of support to you. But I want to promise that we'll be getting back to you because all of these things will not go to sleep. We'll be able to get back and be able to know the benefit that we need to get from you. Reverend Bola Oyeledu.
Thank you very much.
We are ready for you, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me start with what Moshope Fodu has said about giving something to the, to making some demands of the governor. And let me say with all due respect that Kabiyesi the Alakweru, because I am president of my own club here, the Kabiyesi the Alakweru did say at, just after elections, before the swearing in, that I should select one or two people to distill some things in writing for the consumption of the governor. And I said, with due deference, that I don't think that is the route to go. I think that we should organize a meeting with the governor where he will feel our passion and our intelligence, and thereby he himself will now call for and wait for that submission. But that if we do give him a paper prior to that, there are so many other pieces of paper, submissions and things like that that are just standing there and they will go to rot. So I'm still waiting for that opportunity. And again, is the fact that we need to have our own table of demands, weigh them in terms of realities and things like that, and in terms of priorities before we do put them forward. Again, is the fact that Opa Segun Ladega, I know that it's nice to welcome you again, but that I know that you are supposed to be the chairman of the physical master plan for Iperu. We have discussed this even long before now. If we come to, let me just allude to what the Senior Advocate of Nigeria said. He said, we all are in this together concerning the Christ Apostolic Grammar School because of the first school. Let me tell you, nobody is going to do that. Let me tell you very frankly, that if that is going to happen, you, the old students of Christ Apostolic, will be the ones to drive it and to attract other people. I'm an Igbobian, I'm an old boy of Igbobi College, together with Kunle Oshilaja and Professor Shogashofola Sese. You know, and we know how we go out to attract people to rescue our school. So it's not something that they will do willingly. You have to get there and convince them. Many of them have loyalties to other schools in this area. So please, you're back to the plow. Now, coming to Professor Shofola. Prof, let me say from the very beginning that just slightly before now, maybe about a year ago, there's a young man, well, a young man, my age group, called Tunde Shobanjo. He's resident in Austin, Texas. And he came home with the intention of us starting a boot camp here. We held meetings here in my residence, STEM's team, and I already always included management as the special advisor would know. I would always include management. And so that's already in the pipeline, but we have not gone far because again, where do we have it? But fortunately, as I have intimated you and as the coordinator of this program, the initiator of this program hinted, there is a vocational center, a skills acquisition center on the road to Elisha, which we are fortunate to have attracted here between myself and my club. It's a 12 classroom thing. And out of the 12 classrooms, we will have 10, because I intend that one will go for a gym and one will go for a library. But you know, they are going, the federal government is for some federal government. It's going to be fully equipped by them, you know. So it's at that point in time that, and they're nearly finished now in terms of building and things like that. So please, let's keep hope alive in that respect. But that apart, let me say that we have to talk about the security of this place and the in this place, and we have to talk about the enabling environment. We're talking about the enabling environment. We have to come back to the question: the people who do come, who do stray into this space, or people who are supposed to come. Let's talk about Balogun, the Babajebu, the word of Adebutu. He is there. He is trying his best. You know, too much leaning on him and this, but he has children who want to come here. What kind of encouragement have we given to these children to want to identify with us? Are they do they see us as people who, well, once they come, we put everything on their shoulder and on their heads and tell them to carry all the load without us wanting to do anything? What are we ourselves going to contribute? So we're talking about and the thing is that we have to have programs that will encourage the youth. We'll talk about the boot camp and the skills acquisition center. Then we have to talk about things that will encourage the elderly. We have to talk about women groups. We have to talk about cultural resettlement, as I said. We have to engender healthy rivalry around the town so that we are competing with ourselves for the sake of, without any bad blood. We have to do that. And we have to eliminate that selfishness, the self-centeredness and things like that. I will tell you that there's a CBN agric thing. There's an agric thing that's being funded by the central bank. And I got a hint about it. And I spoke to some people in this town. And when I was speaking to them, somebody said, I said, is that for the town? I said, well, look at me, I didn't you know, that kind of a thing will not augur well for the development of this town. We have got to talk about that attitude.
Your network is gone down. Hello, your network is gone down. We can't get to hear you. But thank God that we are already getting to the end of this when it's happened to you. As we are winding down.
Is it encouraging?
Bola, we're not getting to hear you. Your network is dropped. Your network is dropped. Okay. We have come to the end of this program. It is an inaugural program, and I want to promise that this will not be the end. We'll keep getting bigger and keep getting better. As at the time we are rounding off, we have over 63 people that are still on the platform. We have seen testimonies of people who had to wake up so early. He come from Canada. That's to be part of it. That tells you the love and passion that people have for this community. They're only waiting for the right templates for them to be able to key in. I also know that in the part of the federal government, which also has also been mentioned, the diaspora initiative has been a major source of income for the government. And those diasporas, they are not foreigners. Some of them are from Iperu, some of them are from here and there. But resources will flow to a structured environment. We don't have that structured environment, and that is what we have been able to say on this platform today. We also have people that have signed in from South Africa and all of those places. We want to say that we're not taking this for granted. To us as the organizer, it speaks to the fact that the passion for the town is there. The love for the town is there. People are only waiting for a normal structure, a formalized platform that will make it possible for them to be able to participate in the development of the town. As the anchor for this program, I want to assure you that we will not rest on our horse. We'll keep talking and partnering with all of the height and might of the town. And that's why I want to thank the Alapore of Iperu for being with us from the beginning up to this time. And we are not taking this also for granted. We want to thank him for being part and parcel of these things. And that is what else we need than that an endorsement from the Alakpere himself. For my great panelists, Olushola Ido, I know your love for the town. I know it because I associate with you. And I also know your challenges and your fears. But sincerely speaking, you gave me your words, and that's why you are part of these things. Please do not get back. To keep working for the betterment of this town. And many of those things that you mentioned, we are going to implement them together. Kunle Oshilaja, you've been a big brother ever since I met you. You are very deep, you are very reflective. I sincerely keep appreciating you every time. And I want to thank you for also, again, going deep out of your way for being part of this. And you have you've said some things that we need to work on. It is wrong and it is dangerous to put all of our pressure on one single man, as if he does not breathe, the town does not need to breathe. With the quality that we have brought today, the meaning is that if Iperu has a future, and all of us will be there. So we'll be calling upon you. You are in the real estate, you are in the financial sector, and we need initiative from your hand to be able to make a meaning out of what we intend to do. Look, I can't just thank you the more. Our path have crossed several ways, and every time I've kept appreciating you. You have not disappointed again today. You have always been on top of your game. We want to thank you. And to me, as a lawyer, you are part and parcel of Iperu. The law gives you a platform to claim your marriage environment. So I don't see you as somebody from Shagamu. I don't see you from Ilishon, but I'm seeing you from Iperu, because that is where by marriage, law has made you to be part and parcel of that. And thank you also for all of those wonderful things that you have said. Using education to position the town for growth and development. You have opened my eyes to something I never really knew before. But sincerely speaking, we'll check this and then we'll be able to look at it and go forward. Reverend Bola Oyeledu, you have been a big brother ever since I met you. Our paths also crossed by mistake, and every time I've always appreciated you. And I thank you again for being part and parcel of this inaugural program. I want to assure you that implementation, all of us will be able to do it together. For several people who are part and parcel of this program, friends and associates, there are several of them who are friends because they are friends to us. They are not really from Iperu, but they have shown a lot of commitment to this program, and that is why they are here. I don't want to start mentioning them, Francis, Olusumade, and many of them that are on the platform. I want to thank you so much for making us feel comfortable and feel encouraged that we are here. I want to say that we are not taking for granted. We are thanking you and we are appreciating you. As we sign off now, in the next 2-3 minutes, when I finish signing off, I will unmute everybody. So if you can see yourselves, you can then talk for about the next 2-3 minutes to yourself on this platform. I will sign off. When next we come on your way, my name still remains Taiwo Benga Kalade. Thank you so much.
Mr. Moderator, please, can
yes,
you
sir?
also ask everyone to send their contact details directly to you? You must capture details of everybody, please.
Oh, that's a wonderful one. Even though on the platform behind the scene, we have also captured that, but some people did not sign in with their names. So what you have said is very, very important.
Very, very important.
Please just send your contact to us. We'll capture it so that we can record it instantly in the next 2 minutes, and then we can take it up. Thank you. I've muted everybody. So you can assign yourself.
God bless.
Thank you very much. This is a very laudable program. I wish we continue again and again and again.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Let it not be too long. I'll be
the organizer
part of the meeting.
Thank you for being patient with us.
Mo dúpẹ́ o ọlọ́jọ́ bí èmi á ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé o.
Mo ti parí ẹ̀.
Thank you, brother Owo Kalade. Thank you very much for organizing this program.
Kale, can see you.
Thank you for being with us.
Honorable Oshinawa, I can also feel you in the house. Thank you so much.
I think before we go, we should be able to know when we will do the next Zoom meeting, because this has encouraged, because I believe next time we're going to have more and more sons and daughters of the town to join. So today being the first time, so that's why we have less than 100. I believe the next meeting will be more than 100 because we will try and promote this union to all sons and daughters. Brother Barrister Wakalade, thank you very much for this initiative, and may the Lord continue to support you and bless you. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much.
I am in support of this Zoom meeting in Iperu Remo. Let it be a motivation that we can continue with this situation. Okay, sure.
Okay, no problem, sir.
Kábíyèsí nìyẹn.
Kábíyèsí o.
Kábíyèsí o.
Kábíyèsí o.
Kábíyèsí o. Hot London yẹn. Kábíyèsí.
Kábíyèsí. Àwọn ti London nìyẹn o.
Hot London ní kìkì ni o.
Close from South Africa.
How are you? Ṣé o?
Zainab.
Bọ́lá Lékan á rí yín o.
Comfort.
Aláàjì, ẹ káàárọ̀.
Káàárọ̀, thank you for joining. Mo ní orúkọ ẹ̀ náà bẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn.
Mr. Siraya,
sir,
do we have a Iperu association in London at all?
Yes.
We did have one. I see Alhaji Olowe at one point in time still on this thing. We had one. I haven't attended in a long time.
Yeah, we have one. We have one, and I am the president by the help of God. It's not my making. And if you want to attend, my number is.
Identify yourself.
Can I give you my?
Identify yourself. What's the name, sir?
Alhaji Olowe. Alhaji Olowe.
Alhaji Olowe is the president. Excellent. Good. I thought as much. Alhaji Ekaso.
Mr. Kulosi. Ekaso.
Alhaji Olowe, you are saying your number.
Yes, 07949 83 85 26
85
26.
Yes. Thank you. Alhaji Olowe.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow.
I'm going to close this platform now. I'm going to close the platform now. In the next 2 minutes, the platform, in the next few seconds, the platform will close itself.
We need to
Thank you. Bye-bye.
between
Bye, brother
the
Wakalade.
south and
Bye.
east and
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.